Excited to get into more Witch Yuri. Before we get to today's video, I want to take a moment to talk about Patreon. That's right, we are on Patreon now, and we have a bunch of tiers with a bunch of great rewards. You can subscribe and get things like early access to all reactions, depending on your tier, depends on which reactions you get early access to. You can vote on polls exclusive to patrons that will help determine future reaction series and more. You will get to just have various choices in terms of like getting to choose future reactions I react to, getting to choose first impressions I check out, all kinds of different rewards, and possibly more coming in the future. We're still new at this. We're still figuring things out. It's a process. It's a process. But we have multiple tiers, so whatever you would be able to donate, if you're able and willing to donate, is appreciated. It helps me out, it helps the channel out, it helps us grow. It's going to help just, standardly. It's just something new to check out. Plus, if you like getting the reactions early, that's also a plus. But it is optional. If you're unable to do it, that's completely fine. All reactions will come to YouTube just a little bit later, a week later or so. So that all being said, thank you as always so much, and let's get on with today's video. And with that being said, hey everyone, welcome to Princess Gay. I'm your host Connie, and today we are here with my blind reaction to episode 2 of Witch Hat Atelier. That's right, we are getting back to this quickly. This is going to be taking over this slot on Wednesdays from the live action One Piece. And this is actually kind of a last minute decision. The day I'm recording this, I actually just made the decision to do this. Because originally there was going to be something else in this slot. I'll just say that. I'm not going to say what it is right now, but there was going to be something else in this slot originally, taking over for One Piece. And I just changed my mind because ever since I recorded the first impression showdown for the spring 2026 season and noticed how much I was enjoying right off the bat, Witch Hat Atelier. Ever since I recorded that, I've been thinking about it more and more, and I've been wanting to get back to it more and more. And I said in the afterthoughts for that showdown that I was maybe gonna be getting back to it as soon as possible. That I was actually thinking about fast tracking it to the front of the line and getting back to it a lot quicker. And yeah, clearly I'm doing that. And it's wild because it's like there's so many shows that are currently coming out that we're reacting to right away. Obviously, One Piece Season 2 we're getting to right off the bat. We're not wasting any time with that because that's the priority show, if I'm being completely honest. But we've also we've also been reacting to Daemons of the Shadow Realm and stuff. And I believe the week that this is going up, we also have started with Dorohedoro Season 2. So it's like 4 out of the 5 shows we're currently reacting to weekly on the channel are currently airing anime. That's kind of unheard of. Even if there's like 1 or 2 currently airing anime that I'm like really into, it's never usually anything more than that. And to react to 4 currently airing things at the same time is wild. And especially like 4 specifically anime. Because I've reacted to other stuff as it was airing, like Owl House to a point and whatnot. Or Ghost of Molly McGee, Moon Girl and Devil Dinosaur. But those are cartoons. Those are Western animation. For 4 specifically Japanese anime, all airing at the same time that I all want to react to, like, as they're airing. Again, that's crazy. But, I mean, think about what all of them are. Like, One Piece, like I said, is basically the priority show for me. It's my favorite series of all time. Then you have Daemons of the Shadow Realm, which is from the same creator as Fullmetal Alchemist Brotherhood, Hiromu Arakawa. You have Dorohedoro, which is a season 2 from a series that came out in 2000 that I loved. Or not 2000. Wow, 2020 that I loved. And that one was something I've been waiting for 6 years. So, and now you have Witch Hat Atelier, which is a Witch Yuri series, like Little Witch Academia or Owl House. And it's like, this is just kind of that fix that I've been missing since Owl House. And so it's like everything is just like kind of coming together at one time. This season is stacked, honestly. This season is just stacked with stuff. And there's even other things that are coming out that I can't check out right now because I'm not that far into their respective shows. Like, there's a new part of the final season of Dr. Stone. And there's like more ReZero coming out and everything. And it's like, I'm not that far into those, but there's those as well that are also coming out right in this season. It's like just, and then the summer season's going to have some pretty great stuff too, with multiple things from Science Saru coming out, like the new Ghost in the Shell, and then you also have Jadagar, which looks to be amazing. It's just like, anime is like really hitting its peak these last few years. It's like really at a point where it's just, there's so many great things being released. So many great shows and movies, and just, I'm excited. I'm genuinely super excited. And so, yeah, Witch Hat Atelier is just one of those. But I loved the first episode. It gave us a great look at things right off the bat. And I was actually clued in on something via social media that I didn't think about. In the first episode, it shows that magic is not something that's inherent to people. It's not something you're born with, but it's a skill you can be taught. And on top of that, it's done through drawing. You draw these runes, these like glyphs, sort of like in the Owl House, how Luz activates her magic. And people have pointed out on social media that this is important because we're currently living in a world where AI is like trying to take over. And people are trying to draw things to make art, quote unquote, with AI. And it's just a cheap, pale imitation that can never truly capture the actual artistry that real art creates. And so in a world where AI is like, trying to take over, and honestly lately kind of failing at that, to have a series where like drawing creates literal magic is kind of a big deal. It's kind of a big fuck you and a big middle finger to AI, which is the correct, like, morally and ethically correct thing to do. Like, it's just right to tell AI and AI bros to just fuck off. Because it's like, have you heard the newest information? All those data centers that are being put up to make AI, and how like over half of them are also shutting down because they're not sustainable. You do know one of the big reasons why they're shutting down and everything, right? Because people in the neighboring areas are being forced to pay for them. They're literally being forced to pay bills for these data centers, whether they're using them or not, just because they're in the area. Because it's driving up electricity. These data centers drive up electricity so much that just people who live in the area these data centers are popping up in are being forced to pay the extra amount for that electricity. That is so beyond fucked. That is so aggressively unethical. That should be illegal. Like, having people pay for electricity that they're not even using just because they happen to live in an area where a data center is. They're not even using that electricity. Why are they being charged for it? That should be absolutely fucking illegal. That's really fucked. That is so aggressively fucked. And these data centers are being used for AI, for generative AI, which is also the reason why all the RAM prices have shot through the roof and there's such a big shortage of RAM, which is affecting, the computer and gaming industries. It's so fucked. But again, over half of these data centers are also shutting down because they're just completely unsustainable. The AI bubble has begun popping. And luckily, it might keep going in that direction. It might keep, dying until it's eventually gone altogether. Sort of like all those stupid monkey pictures and whatnot. What were they called? Oh, I can't remember what they're called. The really cheap, poorly made art that were just like the same thing over and over again with slightly different expressions, colors, or outfits. You know what I'm talking about. I can't think of what they're called. They were like the internet images, but like people claimed like because they put like money and crypto into them, they owned them. When in reality, they didn't. There was no like legal ownership to them. NFTs. NFTs is what they were. That's it. God, I couldn't remember. Like, the Bored Ape ones. That's what I was talking about specifically. NFTs practically don't exist anymore. Like, I guess technically they do, but from a practical standpoint, they're dead. They're dead in the water. NFTs are a completely dead product because they were never going to be sustainable. It was a bullshit scam that was run to trick people out of their money. And generative AI is exactly the same. It's a scam. And that bubble is starting to pop. And hopefully, by the end of the decade, it's gone completely. And I say the end of the decade just to be realistic. And sorry for going on this rant about generative AI. But again, the reason I'm talking about this is because of what people have been noting about Witch Hat Atelier. Art is an active part of it. And we even see in the first episode that Coco doesn't get the art perfect at first. She doesn't get the glyphs perfectly drawn, but notes that the better drawn they are, the more powerful they are. As well as the size mattering too. Which also was very much like the Owl House. I wonder if the Owl House took inspiration from Witch Hat Atelier, because I know Witch Hat Atelier, the manga, has been around since I think I saw it was like 2016 or something. It was, funny enough, it's older than Jujutsu Kaisen. So people comparing Killfree, is it Killfree or Keyfree? Either way, comparing him to Gojo, it's like, you know the character predates Gojo, right? But like Owl House started coming out in 2019. And so like it also predates Owl House. And I'm wondering if like this series actually did directly inspire Owl House, because I could absolutely see it. I could absolutely see it. Again, just the glyph part in general. It's like almost one-to-one. Even Coco's first spell is even basically a light spell. It's kind of fireworks and everything, but still. Like, it really matches Lou's, and I'm really curious if Dana Terrace genuinely took inspiration. I would not be surprised. Because we know Owl House is heavily inspired by various anime and stuff like that. It wouldn't be a surprise if this was one of the big inspirations. I don't know, though. Like, I don't know if Dana's commented on this or not, but I could believe it. If it is, you bet your ass Dana is watching this series, and you bet your ass she's like excited for this series. Because if this was one of the main inspirations for Owl House, you know it's a big deal that it's finally getting animated from Dana's perspective. But yeah, Coco is like just an adorable character right off the bat. She's very likable, very curious. but also kind of a mess. Like, let's be honest, she's kind of a mess. And I mean that in the best way. I like characters who are like kind of chaotic, kind of like gremlin like, and who are like super passionate about their, their interests. Partially because I tend to hyperfixate on things as someone who's autistic. But I love seeing characters like that. I love seeing characters who are super, super passionate and just put everything that they have into that. And you've seen, again, you see this with like the likes of Owl House and Little Witch Academia as well, which both would kind of delve into the same general genre and realm as this. And so I really like that this feels like kind of almost a spiritual successor to those two shows, even though, again, for at least Owl House, the manga predates that. I don't know about Little Witch Academia, though. I don't know like when the manga for that came out. But either way, I'm very curious to meet other characters in this. Because like we only really have two main ones, I guess, if you don't count Coco's mom, who we have to save. That's at least the kind of the main goal right now, because Coco accidentally froze her in ice as well as their entire home, while doing a forbidden spell that she shouldn't have had access to. But whoever that wizard or the witch was who sold her the book and the wand back in the day when she was younger, it's very clear that they were not supposed to do that. And it's basically coming across like an illegal thing. Probably like a bad guy or something. But I'm very, like I said, very curious to see how all of this like teaching stuff goes. Is there like a full school? Or is it more like a private thing? Like there might be other students, but it's not like a school setting exactly. It's just like Keyfree taking on apprentices. I don't know. But I'm very curious to see. I know that there's other like child characters in this that Coco connects to. Because again, one of the things is I know that this is like, again, a Yuri to some degree. I don't know like how in your face or blatant it is, but it's known for the queerness. And from what I've heard, also it's just very progressive in a lot of ways. The mangaka is actually like super like outwardly spoken about Palestine and stuff, which is amazing. And I love that. Because honestly, if you're not outspoken about Palestine, there's something wrong with you. Just being kind of honest here, it's like Israel is war criming the shit out of Palestine still and other places as well, and we need to speak out against that. Like Israel's like government and Netanyahu, or however the fuck you say his name, they're war criminals. They absolutely are evil war criminals. And before anyone says anything stupid, no, it's not because they're fucking Jewish. Anyone who hates on them because they're Jewish is just, a terrible fucking person. Never hate on Israel or the people within it because of them being Jewish. Don't be an anti-Semitic fuckwad like that. Hate on them because they're evil, because they're committing war crimes. That's completely separate. Hating on Israel because they're committing war crimes does not make you anti-Semitic. It makes you human. I feel like I'm getting very off topic in these pre-thoughts. But it's like it's all kind of relating back to this series. Because again, the author, the creator, being pro-Palestine. But yeah, I've heard a lot about this series is very progressive. And I'm very curious to see like what that all entails, even just outside of queerness and whatnot. Sorry for these pre-thoughts being so long. I've gone on quite a few rambles here. But I feel like it's maybe better to get all of this out of the way now so that we can focus more on the series. I'm very curious to see more of how this magic system works, more of like the steps to actually doing it right, and so on and so forth. So let's get into this and see what episode 2 has in store. Hold up just a sec. Before you click that link down in the description below to get to today's video, I want to remind you of all the awesome content we have both on this channel and the Princess of Gaming channel. Let's check it out. Welcome to the Afterthoughts. We'll begin with spoilers in 3, 2, 1, now. And funny enough, Zenshu Wednesdays kind of return because we have Madeline Morris voicing Agot in this. Clearly the love interest. Clearly the strict, not really bully, but very self-attuned fellow apprentice who is going to very clearly connect with and grow softer towards Coco over time. Basically like Amity from the Owl House or Diana from Little Witch Academia. She's that kind of character. You could also compare to other non-Witch Yuri series. Like you could compare to Andrea Davenport from Ghost and Molly McGee. I'm trying to think of another great example of this. Pacifica Northwest from Gravity Falls would be an example you could use as well. Sasha from Amphibia. A lot of characters like kind of have this similar style. And I've made very clear over the years that I love characters like this. That the bully, mean girl, self-righteous asshole character who ends up having a heart of gold or a tragic backstory or, terrible parents, who ends up becoming a good guy in the end and actually connecting with the hero. And maybe there even being a little bit of shipping fuel in there. Like, I love those characters. Or in some cases, like the Owl House, just, straight up getting together and kissing multiple times. But it's like, I love those kind of characters. Redeemed, antagonistic characters. I'm not going to say villains because they're never actually villains. But redeemed antagonistic characters, mean girls a lot of the time who become good and who become strong allies, friends, or even love interests. Like, that's 100% my thing. I mean, Amity alone from the Owl House is literally my favorite character from the Owl House and a extremely strong comfort character for me. Like just I adore her beyond like what a lot of people would expect. And it's like I love other characters from the series too, of course, but like Amity just always like felt like so well written and so amazingly like relatable and extremely likable because of her backstory, her history, her own issues and everything that she overcomes. She's just fantastic. And when you have a character like that here with Agot, who's very clearly the same way, like Amity, like Diana from Little Witch Academia, very studious, very much like someone who's put in all this work to become as good as she is, and who sees this newcomer as not taking it seriously enough and kind of being an outsider who doesn't really deserve to almost breathe the same air. But it's like, I really wonder, like, let me look this up, because I really wonder if this did inspire Owl House, because think about it, it's very, very, very similar with Amity. Because Amity had to put in so much work because of the way her parents raised her and treated her. And so she had to like become this prodigy through her own hard work. And then when Luz came in, this outsider who's, not normally a witch, her reaction is, you'll never be a witch. You'll never be like one of us. Though in Owl House, it's because of, her being human. But here it's like Aegot basically says the same basic thing. And I'm very, very curious. Was Owl House inspired by Witch Hat Atelier? Wow, it actually came up in the search. Oh, shit. Apparently the mangaka for Witch Hat Atelier actually drew Owl House fan art. Oh, and it looks really good, too. Oh, I love that. And Dana was, like, super, like, excited about it. Dana said on, this looks like Twitter, I'm briefly back because I just saw this. I've melted. I'm in a puddle. This is so cute. Thank you. Yeah, that was Twitter. Okay, so I'm really wondering. Okay, so it looks like it was partially inspired by it. The magic system absolutely was. Like, the glyphs were absolutely inspired by that. So yeah, Dana Terrace has praised the manga, and I guess it has been stated that that it is inspired by that. And with Dana, like, fangirling over the mangaka drawing, Luz and Ida and all, it's like, yeah, I think it's pretty obvious. Because although the personalities are obviously not exactly the same, and I wouldn't expect them to be, Coco and Aegot here are very reminiscent to me of Luz and Amity. Which, I mean, mind you, the manga for Witch Hat Atelier came first. But I am coming into this as an anime only who has never read the manga and who has seen all of Owl House multiple times. It's one of my favorite shows of all time. So when I said with the first episode that this was scratching an itch for me, that this was like fulfilling that kind of witch Yuri that I had been missing from the Owl House, and like even before that, Little Witch Academia. It's like I absolutely mean that. This is easily the same vibe, the same exciting, just overall, like, hype, I guess is a way to put it. And again, it's just obviously very similar, and I feel like it's pretty damn obvious Owl House was inspired by this. This series is like, it's just already won me over. In honestly, in the first episode, it won me over, but episode 2, like, even more so. It has a gorgeous opening with great music and just phenomenal visuals, and the visuals are just always great throughout the entire episodes as well. I like the magic system. It's basically, again, coming at this from someone who saw the Owl House first. It basically feels like the Owl House's magic system with Luz's glyphs, but expanded upon. Because the glyphs obviously did different things for Luz when she combined different elements of them, or even combined 2 or more glyphs into one. But here, there's like more of an actual, like, specific depth to how the glyphs are drawn. They each have a center based on an element, with these extra little bits around the inside of the circle, and then the circle line itself, which seals it and activates the spell. And I love how there's even like little elements that expand upon that, with the likes of the length of the T's, for example, directing the spell, like directing the water spout from, like, instead of going like straight up from the glyph, it like shoots out in a specific direction. Obviously, spraying AGOT with water, but um, I really love that concept though. I love that the length of the tees or just the drawings in general, whatever they might be, can actually direct the spell. Because that can absolutely and should absolutely be used in the future of this series for various purposes. But I like how we learn the history of everything in this episode. We find out that magic used to be something that was just available to everyone, like in the Owl House, by the way. Yeah, even that is very clearly inspired. But magic used to be something that was available to everyone, and then it ended up getting, because of it ended up becoming used for war and hurting people and just generally for bad purposes. And so the witches locked it away, basically. They messed with people's memories in order to lock it away and have only a certain few people be able to practice it, while hiding the fact that anybody could do it, and instead pretending like it's something that you have to be born with. And that's really fascinating world building. Because I like the idea that like this was something that was readily available for everyone, but then like some people started using it for evil purposes, and those who were still good had to basically put a stop to that right quick. In the Owl House, the way it worked was in the Boiling Isles, magic used to be wild and like unrestrained, unrestricted. Anybody could practice any types of magic at any time, could combine them in any ways they wanted. And Belos, when he took charge, labeled that wild magic. And he instead created the coven system to restrain people to only using one type of magic at a time, unless they were his personal guard. And then they got the ability to use all of them. But it's like, it's not quite the same for a number of reasons. For one, in Owl House, it was restricted by a bad person, and wild magic was actually a good thing. In here, it's the opposite. The wild, untamed, forbidden magic, as it's now known, is bad because it hurts people or has the potential to hurt people. And that's why any spells that are used on a person's body directly are now forbidden. Even if it's something like a healing spell, it's forbidden because it's like, it's too dangerous. There's too much potential for misuse. And so now they use spells like either with the drawings on paper or wood or whatever else, or they put them onto like some kind of object and like can create lamps and stuff with that. They can use the things to create like a water bubble and all, and it's like really cool practical applications of the spells by using creative, unique solutions that, shows a lot of general intelligence and again, creativity. And I love seeing that kind of stuff, which was again showcased with Luz in the Owl House. I'm going to be making the comparisons constantly. But we saw, like, again, with Luz combining the different glyphs and finding out different ways to apply the glyphs and the different spells. It's like, yeah, a lot of that practical creativity is showcased there as well. I like that Keyfree is a very patient, understanding, and caring mentor. It shows that he's like, he treats them like people, and he treats them as like, oh yeah, you can make mistakes and you're going to. Your spell circle is not going to be perfectly well drawn right off the bat. He's super kind about it. But then you have Agot, who is taking over helping while Kiefer's away, being Coco's roommate, basically. And they were roommates. Come on. I had to. But yeah, she's clearly, again, more hard-nosed about it because she's clearly someone who's put in a lot of work. She makes a point of stating that she's put in a lot of work to the point where she's like blackened her fingers with like the ink and everything because of how much effort she's had to put in. And I don't know what it's going to be, but there is absolutely some backstory there that's probably going to make me cry. And probably going to endear the shit out of her character to me. Because it's like, I already see the potential there. Like I said, I love this kind of character. I love this this type of, I don't know what the word would be. This archetype, I guess. Archetype would probably work. Yeah, I like this archetype of character. With the examples I gave, like Amity and Pacifica and Andrea Davenport and so on and so forth. And so it's like, I'm just already like prepared to love her. So far, I really love the other characters, though. We got a little bit of these other two students. Their names were briefly said, but I don't remember them. There's the pink-haired girl who sounds like a fucking Eevee from Pokemon. She has a lot of high energy and a little bit of a lisp, a little bit of a vocal lisp, which I think is cute as a button. I know there's a lot of people out there who are really self-conscious about having like vocal lisps and whatnot like that. I know there's a lot of people who grow up with that and have to work to like try and overcome it because they're either made fun of because of it or it's something they just personally hate about themselves. I think it's cute. I think it's really adorable. And you know who it specifically reminds me of? It reminds me of this character who's like a very, very, very minor character in My Little Pony Friendship is Magic named Twist. She's Apple Bloom's friend before the Cutie Mark Crusaders. And she appears, I think, a couple times throughout the entire series. She's very minor. But in the first episode she appears in, which is the episode Sweetie Belle and Scootaloo debut in as well, she has like, and I think she has this every time she appears, but she has this notable lisp. And I think it's just super fucking cute. I think it's adorable as hell. And I already like think it's adorable with this girl as well. Again, I don't remember her name offhand, but like maybe I can find out real quick. Witch Hat Atelier behind the voice actors. That actually might be a good idea because that will give me a name and a voice to go along with the face. Tetia? Tesha? I don't know if it's Tetia or Tesha. But oh my god, that's Sarah Wiedenheft. Oh my god, it so is. I can hear it now. She's doing this like cutesy, lispy voice, but it is Sarah Wiedenheft. Oh my god. For those who don't know, Sarah Wiedenheft is Toru from Miss Kobayashi's Dragon Maid and Power from Chainsaw Man. I love Sarah Wiedenheft's voice performances. Oh my god, that is so her. I can so hear it now in my head. And meanwhile, the other girl, the one with the really choppy bangs, is Rika, maybe? Rika, something like that. But the VA is Narita Bronwyn? I don't recognize the name, and wow, there's no other voices listed here. Is this like a first-time role? That's fascinating. Oh, but that's so Sarah Wiedenheft. Oh, that's so cool. That's so cool. I love her voicing. She's so good. Like, absolutely one of the reasons I fell in love with Miss Kobayashi's Dragon Maid was because of Toru. And because of specifically Sarah Wiedenheft's voice performance. Like, I like the sub for Dragon Maid, but the dub is so aggressively better. And Sarah Wiedenheft is one of those reasons. And she is so good as Power. She is so damn good as Power. Chainsaw Man is one of those series I can watch in sub or dub and be entirely happy with because both are just that good. They're equally as good. But she is so damn good as Power. So it's like just finding out that was her and like, oh, it so was. I think I didn't recognize her right off the bat because of the lisp. I think that was throwing me off. If she didn't have the lisp, I think I would have recognized her right away. But again, I like the lisp. I think it's adorable. That is, I love that. I love that. Also, probably the biggest name that I know from this so far in terms of the dub cast. Like, I know other VAs, obviously, like Madeline Morris, but I think Sarah Wiedenheft might be the one I know the most out of anyone in here so far. So far. That could change. I don't know, but yeah, I like her. And what was the other one? Rika? It was Rika or Rika or something like that. I like that she's like really into food. Like I could eat an entire Pegasus and it's like she's just super excited for the welcome feast, but they have to put that off. But she also has like this almost stoic, emotionless like presence to her. But she's not, and you can very much tell she's not emotionless. But she doesn't like emote super strongly with her voice. And it's like, God, I feel that. Like it's taken a lot of time and effort to get to the point where I can emote to much of any degree with my voice. It's taken a lot of actual like effort for me to put in to do that, and I still constantly feel like I'm not that great at it compared to a lot of other people out there, like a lot of other reactors especially. But I definitely, I know I'm better than I used to be with it. I used to be like really stoic and really like emotionless in how I like spoke about things. And it's just like it's because it's been, so long. I've been doing YouTube since like 2011. I think even technically a little bit before. But I've been like doing, I think specifically reactions since around I want to say 2015. No, I think it might have been earlier than that. Might be 2014. Though that might be too early. I don't know. Somewhere between 2014 and 2016. How about that? Somewhere in that range is when I started doing reactions. I was doing other content on YouTube prior to that. But it's been over a decade. And so it's like, it's very wild to see how far I've come in that time. And mind you, keep in mind, obviously, a lot of those were on my previous channel before that ended up getting terminated. Like I think the entire season 1 of DuckTales might have been on there. And a good portion of Adventure Time was on the old channel. I know that. But yeah, it's one of those cases where it's just I've come a long way. And so it's fun to think about that sometimes. But yeah, so far I like all of these characters. None of them like feel off to me, I guess is a way to put it. None of them feel like unlikable or disinteresting. The most unlikable one is Agot so far, but again, I already see so much potential in her that I can't hate her. Because with this clearly inspiring Owl House and knowing that Amity is my favorite character from Owl House and a comfort character for me, it's like already seeing so much of early Amity and Agot here. It's just like, oh goddamn, I'm going to love the shit out of you, aren't I? It's like obviously early favorite is probably either Coco or Sarah Wiedenheft's character. I'll get their names down, I'm sure. Um, or maybe Keyfree. Coco, Keyfree, and Sarah Wiedenheft's character are probably my early top three. But then again, there's not a huge amount of characters yet. So I'm very curious to see what more we get. And I'm very curious to see like the growth of the characters in terms of their magic, and where this also goes in terms of like all these like clear rumors that are spreading about Coco, because I feel like that's going to come into play. So yeah, I'm very, very interested in this so far. I hope this isn't one of those series though that like starts to ignore the school aspect after a short time. You know what I mean? There's a lot of shows out there where it's like, oh, we start off in a school setting and then it just completely ignores that. After like season 2 or 3 or so, depending on how many seasons the show has, it just completely goes into like the more action stuff and goes into the like heavier emotional storytelling, and the school stuff is completely dropped, or at least almost completely dropped. And it's like so many shows do this where it just loses kind of like that entire focus. And I understand like the shows are more about the characters' growth and development and emotional like journeys. I get that, but I want at least some semblance of the school stuff to remain. Like even Owl House had the school stuff continue to actually be there. Even if most episodes didn't center on it, we still got to see the school stuff, even within the final episodes. The third and final season, which only had the 3 short episodes, we got to see school stuff in there. We got to touch in on that still. And I like that. And see, even just something like that. It doesn't have to be like the main part of it anymore, but still. I hope that the school stuff isn't completely lost after a certain point. So, yeah, we'll see. We'll see. I know there's other characters in the opening that we haven't seen yet. There's another like adult witch. He had like a beard, it looked like. But we'll see these other characters as things go along. And I'm very, very excited to find out where this continues to go. Because this is just, it's won me over so hard already that I am just like so into this. This is absolutely my thing. It is something that I am very, very excited about. And honestly, it might be fighting for one of the top spots of this this season for me, alongside Demons of the Shadow Realm and Dorohedoro. All of which I'm watching in dub, by the way. I just noticed that too. It's like not only am I watching a bunch of currently airing anime this season, but 3 out of 4 of them are in dub. And just I mentioned the reason for Witch Hat Atelier because of hearing that the dub was really good and specific performances were really good in the first episode. And yeah, I've loved it so far. But Dorohedoro is because I watched season 1 in dub. And so I'm just wanting to watch season 2 in dub for consistency. Though I do like the sub voices for Dorohedoro as well. And Demons of the Shadow Realm is just because it would feel wrong watching that in sub, because it's by Hiromu Arakawa, the same creator as Fullmetal Alchemist Brotherhood. And Brotherhood is so aggressively better in dub that it's like almost like a different series. And it's just like leagues and leagues better with the dub. And honestly, I've heard the sub for Demons of the Shadow Realm, and it's not as good. It's not bad. It's just not as good. It's not as different in comparison with like Fullmetal Alchemist Brotherhood and its sub, but it's still much better in the dub. Notably better in the dub. It just feels like the characters should be speaking in English. It just they look like they should be, like you should be hearing them in English. It feels so off. It's a yeah, but I'm not going to get into all that here because I think I've already talked about that in the Damon's videos. But either way, yeah, I'm very excited for more Witch Hat Atelier. This is just proving to already be fantastic. It's proving to already be exactly what I would hope it to be. And presumably it'll continue to be as such. So that being said, thank you all so much for tuning in. Let me know your thoughts down below. And for now, I'm Connie and I'm signing off. See y'all next time.